You're not unhappy. You're just living someone else's life. We scroll through someone else's highlight reel and slowly start hating our own reality. Their job, their house, their smile, and something inside us whispers, "Why not me?" But here's the truth no one tells you. The life you're comparing yourself to might be the very thing destroying your own. And the worst part? The person you're comparing yourself to might not even be happy. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear changed everything for one man, and it might just do the same for you. If you enjoy powerful stories that change the way you see life, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. His name was Daniel, 31 years old. A small apartment, a modest job, a quiet life. Every morning, he woke up to the sound of pigeons outside his window, made his coffee the same way, and sat at the same wooden table by the light. It wasn't impressive, but it was his. Daniel worked as a delivery driver. No degree, no big savings, but he had something rare, peace. He helped his mother with rent, had 2 close friends, and laughed easily. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't empty. And then, Marcus came back. Marcus, his old school friend, now had everything Daniel didn't. A tech company, a luxury car, international trips, a life that looked perfect. At dinner, everyone leaned in when Marcus spoke. They laughed louder, listened longer, and when someone finally asked Daniel what he was doing, there was a pause. Just a second too long, but that second hit hard. That night, Daniel went home, looked at his apartment, his table, his coffee, and for the first time in years, he saw his life through someone else's eyes. And suddenly, it didn't feel like enough. That night, he couldn't stop scrolling Marcus's Instagram, LinkedIn, old classmates. One built a startup, one moved to Europe, one published a book. And Daniel? He sat there alone, his coffee turning cold, and whispered, "What have I done with my life?" That question followed him everywhere, to work, to sleep, back to that same table every morning. The peace he once had was gone. Comparison didn't just steal his happiness, it stole his presence. He stopped noticing the pigeons, stopped smiling the same way. One day, he snapped at his mother over nothing. His friends reached out, but he pushed them away. He started chasing things he didn't understand, applying for jobs he wasn't ready for, trying to look successful instead of feeling fulfilled. Every decision he made was for an invisible audience in his head. He wasn't living anymore, he was performing. One evening, his mother called and said, "Come for dinner. I made your favorite." He went. She looked at him quietly and said, "You used to smile so easily. What happened to my son?" He didn't answer, but something broke inside him. On the drive home, he pulled over and sat in silence. And for the first time in months, he stopped thinking about Marcus. He thought about himself, who he used to be, the man who helped his mother without being asked, who made people laugh, who found joy in small things. And in that silence, he realized something simple. Nothing was wrong with his life. He had just stopped seeing it as his own. The next morning, nothing dramatic happened. He didn't quit his job or chase success overnight. He did one small thing. He put his phone away, sat at that same table again, with his coffee, with the pigeons, with himself. And he wrote one line. "No more comparison. No more pretending. This life is mine." That was it. But slowly, everything started changing. 6 months later, Daniel was still a delivery driver. But he smiled again, talked to strangers, called his friends, and spent Sundays with his mother. His life didn't get bigger. It got fuller. And then he realized something powerful. If that pain had never hit him, he would have never known what actually mattered. Comparison didn't just break him. It showed him what was worth protecting. His peace, his people, his life. What felt like the end was the beginning in disguise. So here's what this story is really about. Comparison doesn't measure your life. It measures your distance from someone else's. And that distance means nothing. The moment you start performing your life for others, you stop living it for yourself. And your version of a good life is valid, even if it's quiet, even if no one claps for it, because you have something no one else does, your life. If you felt something while listening to this, don't ignore it. Subscribe and share this with someone who is slowly losing themselves in comparison. Daniel still wakes up to the pigeons, still makes his coffee the same way, still sits at that wooden table. But now, he doesn't see a small life. He sees his life. and he protects it. So let me ask you, whose life have you been living? Because in the end, it was never about what happened to you. It was always about how you faced it.